Hello all, welcome back to Learning Partner. If you are new, please do subscribe. This is another channel where you can directly connect with me. We have around 1,000 plus members already who are working. We take live coding sessions and everything. To just get notified about those sessions, please do join this group. So in this project video, we are going to create a learning management system. So many of you might have somewhat used Udemy or so many plural site or so many portals are there from where we learn it, right? So what do we have over there? There are multiple courses. Inside that multiple courses, we have multiple videos, right? So we have to enroll to that. Means by paying, we enroll to that, and then we can complete the whatever the courses we have, what are the videos we have, we can watch that. Correct. So just like that, whatever Udemy offers, obviously it's a detailed one, but if we have to create a POC like proof of concept, so we can whatever the basic idea of learning management system is there, so that we are going to complete. So the UI HTML code is already there. It is already pushed to my repository, that is YouTube project template. Just visit that. All whatever the code you are able to see over here, that is over there. So this will be our landing page. Okay. So in landing page, we will just have a nav bar, just a title, something. Then we will have our courses. What are the courses we have? Then on click up on each courses, we can see the content also. If we click on view videos, we will just show the video. What are the videos we have? By topic, whatever we get from the API. Correct. And we have register and the login button. So on click of it, we will do the registration and the login part in the model pop-up. Currently register and the login both forms are visible, but we will again write the code to be like at least register or login form will be available. Fine. Then we have some trending courses also. Then once we register, this is the landing page. One more page will be there. That will be once we enroll, we will be able to see this, and that will be this page. So here we will be having all the code, all the videos available in that course, and whatever the video we have associated with that, that will be visible over here. So this is a small application. Now again, talking about module. So this is a learning management system. Whenever we talk about this kind of application, we will have an admin module also and a website. So in this video, we are just going to discuss about the website module. So obviously admin module will be there where courses will be created, videos will be created. In course, particular videos will be adding users, enrollment, all those things will be there in the admin module. Now website module. So in website module, we will have landing page. That is nothing but this. All the show available courses, show videos in the courses, registration on the login page, course enrollment, show enroll courses. We are going to have one more page where we'll be showing the courses which you have enrolled and a record activity. So that is like, let's say if I clicked on this and I watch it. So here you can see watch. This is new, which I didn't watch, like that. Just to record like user has what watch which particular content or not, like that. So these are the various module we are going to see. API will be over here, project api.zerasim.in, and UI design you will find it on in this repository. Fine. The project we will be starting with Angular 18. This is the new one. Whatever the new things we have, we will try to cover. Again, just a reminder, so many guys were asking like why I'm not designing UI in the video itself. See, video like if we start designing this now, almost 1 hour will go into designing only. So I don't want that to happen. So that's why I keep the UI ready. You can also have the access. So our main objective, like we should be able to complete the project. UI is not that much important, right? Because most of the time we copy paste from Bootstrap site and everywhere, and we design this. This is site purely developed with the Bootstrap. Okay, so you can just make use of it. Main functionality is how do we complete the project from scratch. So that we are going to see. Now I have created a project. So let me just show you the project. So this is the empty project I have created. In package.json, you can see the package version is 18. I have installed Bootstrap and Awesome. Apart from the basic packages we have, I have installed two important packages. Then once you install the Bootstrap and the Awesome, you have to add those links over here. Now let me just show you the command also. So ng new project name. This is a CLI command to create the new project. Once you've done that, then you need to run npm bootstrap and npm awesome. Once you do that in your angular.json, you need to add that. This is the initial thing what I have done. Now my API will be accessible on the particular port number. So that is by default we run our project. It will run on the 4200, correct? But let's say I need to run the project on different ports. So --port 4209. This is the same code which you have to run. Let's run it. Let's close everything. We don't have anything, just the parent component is there. So just the default Angular login page, Angular page will be available over there. Let's try localhost 4209. Fine. So you can see this is the default page we got it. Now, so how many components we are going to need? So looking at it, let's discuss the component. So landing page like app component will be there. In app component, we will have this navbar. In app component, we will just have the navbar. Then remaining this code, whatever the content you are able to see. For this, we will create one component that will be, let me just create it quickly. So in app folder, we will create a folder and we will name it as pages. Inside pages folder, we need to open the terminal like this. So in pages folder, we need to create first component that will be, let's say, home. So first component which I'm creating is home. After home, we will need one more component for the course detail. So second component, course details. This course detail component is nothing but this page where we are going to show all the content in the particular course, where we can see the videos and everything. One more component will be there where we will be showing my courses, like enroll courses. What are the courses I have enrolled? That. So my courses. Okay. So three components we have created. For login and the registration, we are going to do in the model pop-up. So in the app component only, we will do that. Now we just need to copy the code. So this is our HTML code. First, I will need the CSS. So whatever the CSS we have, these are the global CSS we are going to need in every component. So this piece, this classes, I will put it into my style.css, global CSS. After that, we need the navbar. So navbar we are going to put into our app component. So let's copy this. Let's put that into our app component. Now, whatever thing we have, let's get rid of that. So many things are there. Let's save and let's try to save. We should be able to see the navbar. Yes. So see, navbar is visible. After navbar, we need router outlet. So after navbar, how is it? Okay, directly. So let's create router outlet. Fine. So router outlet is a directive which is responsible to render activated route component. Fine. Now, so once we created the component, next thing will be we have to create the route. So let's create the route. So approute.ts. Again, I'm not revising everything like what is the difference we have in the older version and the newer version. I have created tutorial. If you are new, please do watch that. Now here we have to create the route. So first route I will be creating as the default one. So that will be empty. Redirect to where we have to redirect home. Then path match we need to match. Full URL we will match. This is my default route. After that, again path will be home component. So if we have URL, if in the URL we have home, which component we need to open? So home component. Just like that, we will need two more component. Home, then course details, course detail and my courses. Okay, this route will have a parameter, so we will change that afterward. But basically, these are the routes we are going to have. Let's just try to save and let's say if default route is work. Yeah, so see, home is there and home component is getting rendered. Now in home component, what do we need? Let's close the routing file. Now in home component, we need the landing page UI. So this, and footer. And model pop-up is also there. Now model pop-up, we will put it into our app component. So let's just copy this and put it into home component. Let's save unexpected p tag. Let's see where we have unexpected p tag. What is the line number? 162. 162. Let's remove this. Yeah. So see, whatever the template we have after copy pasting, same is visible over here. Okay. Now our UI we have copy pasted. So first thing, what we need to do on the page load, we need to call our API. Now let's get back to the API code. So these are the API. So here you can see get all courses API is there. So this is the API which is going to return whatever the courses we have. So already some data is there. You can also create your course from Swagger. Here you can see add new course is there. You can create your own course also, but by default I have created some course. Now we are moving towards the first. We will complete the first thing. That is, we need to show all the courses. So obviously we need to make the API call. So to make the API call, first thing in app config, we need to add HTTP provide HTTP client module. So over here, provide HTTP client. Fine. This is the first step. Whenever we have to make the API call, this is the first thing we need to do. Then now what we can do, either we can do the API call in component only, but that's not good. API call we should do in the service. So let's create a folder, services. And now in services, what I will do, I will create a service. So open a new terminal, ng generate service. Let's say I'm just giving a name as master. So it's a small project, so we can create only a single service. If your project is very huge, obviously based on the model, multiple services will be there. Okay, so master service is there. Now in master service, I need to create the functions. So get all courses. This is the function normal. Now from this function, we are going to make the API call. Okay. From this function, we are going to make the API call. So here, and whatever the data we get, that we are going to return it also. So return this. Okay. Before making API call, first we need to create an instance of HTTP client. So private HTTP colon HTTP client. Okay. Now this dot HTTP dot, our method is get one, and we need to pass the URL. So now all API will have the URL almost same. Just our method name is going to change. So this will be our common part. So either instead of having this same part repeated in all the function, what we can do, we can create a local variable and then we can use it. So API URL colon string is equal to this. Instead of putting this, you can create environment folder also, ng generate environments, and that this URL you can put it over there also, but just I'm skipping that for now. Now here, so we need to use template literal. So over here, dollar curly bracket this dot API URL. Then we just need to pass the method name. So our method name is get all courses. So this will go over here. Again, instead of putting this over here, you can create the constant also. So just visit my channel. I have created a video where how do we set up the project. So this you can put it into constant, and then instead of hard coding this over here, that value will come from the constant. So we can do that also. Fine. Now this is very basic API call function, but we know, let's check the API call response. So what is the response we have from that API? From all my API response, you will get message, result, and data. Okay. And in the data, you will get the actual data. Result property you will be using when you do CRUD insert, post operation, put operation, and the delete operation. Okay. So in data, you will get it. So first we need to create the interface of this. Okay. So these three fields, we need to create the interface. So now in app folder, I will create one more folder that will be model. In model folder, I will create master.model.ts. Just a TS file I'm creating. Export interface API response. So whenever you are creating class or interface, if it is interface, just start with I, because this is the standard what we follow while working in the industry. So make sure you are also following the same. Now we just need to provide the data type. So colon string. Then this will be Boolean. So colon Boolean. And last one will be data. Now data, sometimes it can be object, sometimes it can be array. So that's why I'm keeping it any. It can be anything. So dynamic. Fine. Now this API is going to return the data type of this. So over here, we can provide the return type of this function. So observable Let's add the import first from RxJS. What do we need? Observable. Fine. So now over here it will come observable. What type of data I'm going to return? This interface. So let's copy it. Some spelling mistake is there, I think. Let me just correct it. Response. This will go over here like this. And obviously we are going to use the interface. So we need to import that also. Import. Fine. Once you provide the return type function, return type, now then you need to provide same over here also. Like this. So this should be your API call. This is the standard what we follow. Your function should have a proper return type, what type of data, here also same thing. Now we have created our service. Inside that service, we have created one API call function also. Now in home component, on the page load, we need to call this API call function. So we need to make use of lifecycle event, that is onInit. Once you implement onInit, you need to create ngOnInit function also. Fine. Now, from Angular 16, we have got something new, that is inject. So instead of doing it with the dependency injection in constructor, what we normally do, we can create an instance of service by using inject. So master service is equal to inject. What we need to inject? Master service, like this. This is same as what we used to do like this. Okay. Now let's create a function get all, or let's change the name load courses. Now, so this dot master service dot, only one function is there, get all courses. This function is going to return the data type of observable. So we can subscribe to it. Result colon. Now what type of data we are going to get? API response model. So that same thing we have to provide over here also. Fine. So this is your basic API call. This is the success call. But let's say if we API failed or no, server is not available, so we should catch that also. So after this, comma, error, you should have an error block also like this. So this is your API call should look like. Fine. Now, this function we need to call on the page load. So over here, we will call this function. Whatever the data we are going to get, that we need to store it also. So let's create. So this is what your API call function should look like. Now, whatever the data we are going to get, that we need to store it also somewhere. So from Angular 17, we have got something that is signal. So let's try to make use of the signal. So let's say user, sorry, it's a course list. So course list is equal to signal. What type of data we are going to store? Now here also we can provide the data type. So basic, what do we say, interface and everything I have already created. So let's make use of it. We just copy all this class and interface. And let's put it into our master model.ts. Okay, so for you can see for some I have created class, for some I have created interface also. So this is how we create the class. So in class we get the access of the constructor. So default value we can initialize like that. So here interface is created. Now what this type of data we are going to get? So this, what type of data we are going to store? Array also. So that's why like this. Let's add the import. And we need to initialize also. So initial value. So I'm assigning empty array. Fine. So we have created a signal. Now we need to provide the value to the signal. So once we get the API call data, then we need to store the data. So this dot course list dot, how do we change the state signal value? By using set method. So that set method we need to pass result dot data, because in data we are going to get the data, means actual API response. Fine. Now this course list we can use in HTML to iterate. Okay. So let's go over here. This is the static code. So let's remove the static code. So call for, let me just remove the static code. So this was the static code. Now we have to make it dynamic. Now, So from Angular 17, we have got control flow statement. That is, how do we iterate in the HTML? Previously, we used to make use of ngFor, but now we have got at the rate for loop. So at the rate for loop. Okay. Now here we have to provide the signal. How do we access the signal? As a method like this. So now this complete column is going to be iterated. So this we have to put it over here. Now we just need to provide the dynamic value. So src will be in square bracket property binding. What we need to pass? So from item, we might be getting thumbnail image URL, this. Then here we need to show the course name. So interpolation item dot course name. Here we just need to show the description of the course. We will use pipe to limit the character. For now, let's show it. There it is, course description. Let's just save and so let's try to save all and let's see if we are able to see the data which is coming from API. Yeah, so see in API I just have 5 courses. Okay, the string was there. Let me just delete it. ID is 16. Let's try delete the first one. Delete course by ID, write course ID, execute. Let's reload. So you can see whatever the courses we have got from the API, that is visible. Now, whenever we work on a website, design should be very proper, right? So see, description is somewhat for these courses we have less, then we have more. So UI design is getting messed up. So we need to control that. So what we can do, make use of the slice pipe. So in Angular, by default, pipe is there, that is slice pipe. So if we have to use pipe, you need to import it also. So slice pipe. Okay. So over here, description, slice. Now we need to provide the value. Let's say 0:20. Let's try if we are able to show just the 20 characters. See, let's try to make it instead of 20, 100 characters. Let's save. Okay. So now still 100 will, one new line is coming, I think. Let's go with 90. Yeah. So now the width of the card is proper. But this is very limited, correct? So what we can show here, dot, 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 we can show, and whole thing also we can show. So we have got title. You can use the tooltip also. And in title, you can show the whole actual description. So actual value without the pipe, we will show it over here. So see the shortcut value, we are showing it over here. But once user hover on that, every value means complete value we are able to see in the tooltip. Instead of this title, you can make use of the any third-party library to show the tooltip also. Fine. So this is done. And one more thing, currently I don't have API for this. I will create it at the end. We will again integrate it. So our first thing is done. We have whatever the courses we have that we have integrated. Now in view videos, sorry, it's again reloading, but this is the template. So on click of view videos, we need to open the modal pop. And in the modal pop-up, we need to show what are the topics we have, or what are the videos we have in this particular course. So first thing, on this view videos button, we need to open the modal pop-up. Okay. So let's just get the code of the modal pop-up. So this is the modal pop-up code. So let's copy. And this modal pop-up code, we will put it into our home component only at the end over here. Fine. We have the static code. Let it be. Now, how do we open the modal pop-up? So to open the modal pop-up, we have to access this particular element and we just need to add a dynamic style to it. Display block. By default, it is display none. Once we provide a style to display block on this div, it will show the modal pop-up. So either we can go with ViewChild or we can directly go with the document.getElement by ID also. Let's go with ViewChild. So we have to create the ViewChild. Let's add import first. ViewChild. Okay. Let's create ViewChild. This will be model colon. Sorry, I forgot ViewChild. At the rate ViewChild. Now here we need to provide the value. So instead of ID, now we have to provide the hash value. So hash course model. Fine. So now this hash property we need to provide over here. Okay. So model data type. It's an element reference. So element ref by default cannot initialize it. So I will add undefined check over here like this. Okay. So we have created our view child. So now where it is button. So on click of this button, we need to call one function on click of view. So click open model. But when we call this function, we on click of this, we are going to call one API and that is going to get us the number of videos we have in that particular course. So for that, we need to pass the course ID as a parameter over here. So this primary key, we will pass it. Let's create this function now. So now in this function, we are going to get the course ID. Let's catch that. Data type will be number. Now, first we need to open the model purpose. So let's add a if statement check if model is not undefined. Whenever we are dealing with the view child, always we have to check for the null. Okay. So this dot model dot native element dot style dot display is equal to block value. Okay. Let's just try this if we are able to open the model pop. So on click of view, wait, I think we have hash property. Let's remove that. That's why it is not, it might not be opening. Let's try now. Wait, why it's not opening? Do we have any error? No error is also there. Let's try to debug the function. Home component. What do we have over here? This function. Let's try to click. Model is not null. It is going. Oh, so you can see spelling mistake is there. CSS display. Display. Let's try now. Now it should open. On click of view, you can see model pop-up is opening. Now in this model pop-up, we need to show the courses we get from the API. So we have one more API. Let me just show you that. So we should have one API which will get us all the videos in that particular. Yeah. So get course videos by course ID. So what is the course ID we have? So the first course, that is Angular. So Angular has the course ID 17. Let's check for the 17 if we have videos. I have added some default data. Yes. So see, in 17 course, we have some data. So this is the API call we need to make. Let's copy this. Now again, all API call we are going to put into our service. So let's do that over here. Now I'm not going to again explain everything because first time I have explained. Now I will just copy paste. So this will be our function name. Then this will go over here. Just instead of 17 hard code, we will have the parameter ID colon number. And this ID we have to pass it over here, dollar curly bracket ID over here. Fine. Now, once we open the model pop-up, we need to call this function and whatever the data we get that we need to store it also. So just like this function, we are going to need one more function. Get course videos. And this function we are going to call from over here. And while calling, we are going to pass the ID also. Whatever the ID we get, we will pass it over here. This we will catch it over here. And this we have to pass it to the API call function over here. Now, whatever the data we get that we need to store. So for storing the course list, we have created signal. Now let's just go with the videos. Normal variable course videos. data type. Now I think I have already created the course videos. Yes, so here you can see, no, this is the data, this type of data we are going to get. Let's add the import. So this is the only part I'm skipping because it takes very so much time and I'm trying to limit the video length. So that's why I have already created this. Okay. Now, whatever the data we get, that we have to store it over here. So course list instead of set, now normal way like this. Okay. Now this function we have called it over here also. Now whatever the data we get, that we are storing it over here. Let's try to iterate it. So in the model pop-up, this is the repeated code. Let me just get rid of the repeated thing. Let's remove this. Now again, we will have @for loop. The repeated content we need to move over here. Now here, we just need to showcase the title of thumbnail image of that particular video. So item, again, square bracket, item dot video URL. Sorry, we don't have thumbnail URL, I think. I forgot to add the thumbnail URL. In the videos also, we should have a thumbnail URL. Okay, for now, let's just remove this image tag. And over here, course title, instead of course title, sorry, video title, we need to showcase. So item dot video title. And after H6, we can get paragraph. And here we can show video description. So item dot, oh my God, description also is not there. I forgot to add. Okay, let it be. I will add it. Okay, let's just save it and let's check it. So by default on the page load, we have get all courses. Now, if I click on Angular View videos, so one more API call you will be able to see over here. See with course ID 7. And in Angular, you can see we have 4 videos. Okay, let's close. Okay, we didn't write the function to close. Let's reload. Now, if we click on React also 4. Let's write the function to close the model pop-up also. So just like open model, let's copy. We will have close model. We won't need any parameter. And we don't need this function. Just instead of block, it will be none. And this we need to call in the model pop-up over here. Click function. Let's just save and let's check if we are able to close the model pop-up on click of it. So you can see React, we have some different data. In JavaScript, we have just 3 videos. Okay. I will add the thumbnail URL over here also, because without thumbnail, this won't make any sense, because if we have the thumbnail, then it will look very proper. Okay. So I will add this. So by the time you will be checking the API, you will get the thumbnail also in the videos. Okay. So our basic thing is done. Now we will move towards the registration and the login. Fine. So one thing we miss, that over here we are getting the image. So I just forgot to add that in the interface. So let me just do that now, so that image also we will be able to see. Title, and this will be thumbnail. Okay. Let's just save and check in the videos also if we are able to see the thumbnail. Right, why it's not coming? URL is there, but I think URL entered is wrong. Let's try to open this. I thought it. So I think URL is wrong. Let me check the database, what I'm sending from what I have stored in the database. Let's just check it quickly. So in LMS videos, so URL I have is like this, and I think it is expired or something. Okay, anyway, So this code will be like as it is. I will change the URL so that proper image will be loading over here. Fine. So now we have to do the registration on the login part. So now if we click on the register or login, oh, so now on click of over here, let's see the example. So over here, if we click on register, model pop-up is opening, and in the model pop-up, we have registration and the login form. But we need to have a button over here to toggle between register and the login. Fine. So first thing, on click of register or login, we need to open the model pop-up. So now this model pop-up thing we are going to do in our app component because navbar is in our app component. So this is the model pop-up where it is. Yeah, this is the login model pop-up. Let's copy, and this will go to our app component. At the end, I will paste it. Let me just close everything. Now in home component, to open the model pop-up, we have used ViewChild. How we can open the model pop-up in ViewChild. Now in app component, I will use the normal way by accessing the particular element. Fine. Now, so in the link, in the navbar, we have this registration and this thing, right? So now over here, let's remove this. Let's remove this. And on click of register or login, we need to create a function. Click, open, model. Now either we click on the register or the login, same pop-up we are going to open. So same function I'm calling. Let's create this function. Fine. Now, so another way is by accessing this particular element by document.getElementById. by ID. So what I can do, constant model is equal to document.getElementById, by ID, and we need to pass the ID of the element. This is nothing but my model. So this we have to pass it over here. After that, we need to add a null check. If model is not equal to null, then model dot style dot display is equal to CSS. We need to add is the block one. Just like this, we need close also. So let's copy it. And in close, we need none CSS. Fine. Let's just save and check if we are able to open the model pop-up. Now, if we click on register, so you can see we are getting the pop-up. Let's remove this hashtag. Now, if we click on register or login, okay, close function also we need to call. So close function we have created, this we need to call over here. Like this, okay? Now, so inside this, we have two sections. So two divs are there. One is for registration and one is for login. Now, what I can do in Bootstrap, we have one thing that is button group. So let's try to use that button group. This is what I'm talking. Okay, let's copy this. We just need to shuffle it. So in the body, we will have this div, and here we will just have two buttons, either register or login. So now we have two buttons. If we click on register, our registration pop-up should be, our registration form should be visible. Otherwise, vice versa. Okay. So what I will do on click of it on, or let's say show register. Okay. And on login, we will create one more function, or same function we will one only function show, or let's say toggle form. Okay. Let's create this. So now while in on click of register, we will pass true. Okay. And on click of login, we will pass it false. Now let's create this function. Okay. Now here we will create one variable is login form visible. Boolean, by default, we will say false. Okay. So if this variable is having true value, then we will display our login form. So over here at the rate if, so this is again control flow statement, what we are saying. So if this variable is true, we will display this. Okay. and @else to this if this variable is false, we need to show the registration form. So let's copy and let's paste it over here. And in this function, while calling this function, we are passing the true or false value. Well, Boolean. So whatever the value we get, that we will store it over here. And that should be toggling our thing. Let's check it now. Let's see if we are able to toggle between the form. So on click of register. So by default, you can see only register form is available. If we click on login, okay, currently it's doing vice versa because we have initialized with false. Let's make it true. Let's save. Let's try now. Okay, so now you can see we are able to toggle. Okay, one more thing, we can add a dynamic class. So currently register and the login is there, but it's not looking like as a button. If we click on register, why it is, I think vice versa it is happening because over here, let's pass it false over here. Let's pass it true over here. Let's check one more time. Now it should behave perfectly. So if we click on register now, see, we are able to do the toggling thing. So whatever the current view is there, that button should be highlighted. So for that, let's add a dynamic class. So dynamic class we can add by using class property binding like this. Okay. How we are going to decide if this variable is true, then this class, otherwise this class. So let me just copy. So if this variable is true, means login button is visible. So here we will say success. The same thing we have to copy over here and here it will be false. Let's just check now. So now you can see login button is highlighted because we are in the login form. If we click on register, register button is highlighted and the registration form is visible. Let's align it to center also. It will look proper then. Let's add a row called 12. Let's move this over here. Text center. Let's save and let's check it one more time. Fine. So now it is looking proper. Okay. Now on click of register, we need to integrate our API. Okay. So let's start the API integration now. So now on click of first, we have to complete the register. So on click of register, we need to call our API so that the user will be able to register. So if we see the API, so this is the API, add new user. This is the object what we need to send to the API. So if you see, so many things are over here, but what we need, username, email ID, full name. Okay. Only these three things we need to pass and password also. Remaining things, you can just send it empty. Wherever we have date, so you can send the new date. So likewise, over here, you can see I have created a class. Okay. And some things like created date, empty, role is also empty, user ID I have initialized to 0. This is how you also have to create the class. Okay. Now for login, for registration and the login, we are going to make use of the template form. Okay. So let's start now. So now in the app component, we have the form, correct? So whenever we have to use the template form, first thing we have to import the forms module. So forms module we will import. Then only we can make use of the ng model, correct? Then we have to create the instance of our class. So user register obj data type will be user class. So see, it is suggesting from master.model. It's a class, so we can initialize like this. Okay. So we have created our object. Now this object we need to bind to our form. So let's go to HTML. So this is the registration form. So whatever the, now you can see we have a form tag. So whenever we are using ng model within the form tag, name attribute is also mandatory. Name, then we have to use ng model directive. Okay. Dot, what we need to bind? See, this is the benefit of creating, providing class or interface. You get everything IntelliSense. So this is for, what is it? Full name. So let's provide full name over here. And this, sorry. And this same property, we need to pass it on the name attribute also. Okay, so let's copy paste over here, and over here. This is for password. Then this will be username. So this is the username which we are going to use to log in, and email. Fine. So we have created object, and that object we have binded to our form also. What is the error we are getting? Okay, we didn't save it. Now it compiled successfully. Then on click of register, we need to call our API. So this is the button. So instead of submit, let's do button, and we need to call our API. So click on register. Let's create this function. Now, as we decided API call function, we are going to keep in our service. So over here, we just need one more function. Now I'm just going to copy paste. Now our register API is the post one. See? And this is the method name, add new user. Let's copy. Let's paste it over here. This will go over here. Now post API is there. So post API requires two parameters, URL and the object. So this function also will need the object, data type of user model, and this object we will pass it as a second parameter over here. Fine. This will be add new user. Fine. So our API call function is ready. Now this we have to integrate into our this function. So this dot, we didn't create a master service. First, we need to create the instance of our master service. Is equal to inject. What we need to inject? Master service only. Okay. So now in register function, this dot master service dot which function? Add user. This function needs a parameter. What parameter? Object. So object is nothing but this object. So this we will pass it over here as a parameter. Then we need to subscribe. Now one more thing. Result. Just a minute. Result. I API response model. So my API will return this object, correct? So if result property is true, then only we will be sure like API call is success. If it is false, in message field, you will get the error. So for that, we just need to write if else block. If result is true, then we will show the alert box. Instead of alert, you can make use of toaster or something. I'm not using toaster. You can install the toaster package and you can use it. User registered. Okay. And once he is registered, we need to close the model pop-up also. So this function, we will call it over here like this. Okay. And in else, if we get false in the result, we will get the error message from the API only in message field. So message. This is your API call should look like. Fine. Let's just test it if we are able to register. Now this is the first time we are doing the post operations. I will add a debugger and show you like how everything works. So in sources, we need to open our app component. So this is our function. So let's add a debugger. Let's click on register. We are getting debugger. Okay. Now let's say test user test at the rate dummy.com. Username, let's say test user password 112233. Let's click on register. So now here you can see in the registration object, we have got the detail, whatever we said. Remaining things are empty. Okay. Let's add a debugger over here also. Let's continue. So in result, you can see we have got true. Means registration got success. Okay. And after registration, we have closed the model pop-up also. So here you can see registration is success. Let's try to check the get all user to see if user is registered properly. Where it is. See, test user. So many records are there already. So this is the user which we have created. Fine. So our registration part is success. Now we have to do the login part. So registration part is success, then we have to do the login. So again, login API, this is the object what we need to pass, and it is again post API. So for this also we can create the inter class. So in master model.ts, let's create a class quickly. Export class login. Fine. These are the properties we have. Okay. Then we have constructor. What are the properties we have that we need to initialize? Password is equal to empty, and this dot username is equal to empty. Fine. Let me just format it properly. So we have created our login object class for the login model. Let's create it just like on register object. We need login obj. Data type will be login. Again, we have to initialize it like this. Now this we need to bind to our login form. So in this if condition, we have the login form. Now let me just copy paste this. Let's put it over here. It is going to be a single text. So instead of email, I'm going to use the text. Now here we need to bind our login object. So login object, username and password. Let's copy paste over here also, over here also. Now on click of login, we have to call our API. So click on login. Let's create this function. Fine. Now in the service also we need to create. So just like this same thing, we will have it. But here login model we are going to receive on login. And here instead of add user, our method name will be login. The remaining things are same. Post API only. Now same code, this same code will be over here. Just instead of add user, we have to make use of login method. And here we need to pass login object. User log success. And once user is successfully logged in, we need to store the user detail also. So local storage dot set item learning user. This will be the key name. Then JSON dot stringify. Whenever we are storing the data into the local storage, it will only allow string type of data. So that's why whatever the object we get, login current user logged in detail, that we will get it into data. So we are converting object into string and that we are storing over here. Okay, let's check if we are able to log in. Save. Whatever the detail we use for login, that same only we will use it. So username was this test user, and password was 112233. Okay, let's check. Let's add a debugger also. App component here and here. On click of login, you can see in the login object, we have got the detail. Okay, let it be. Once we continue, in result, we got true. Once it is true, we are showing the alert box. Then we have stored the data into the local storage. Let's see. So over here, learning users, you can see whatever the data we filled, that is visible in the local storage. Okay, let's try login one more time with wrong credential. I wanted to show you the else block. So now here you can see we got false. So if it is false, it will go over here. Username or password is wrong. Got it? So user login is success. But once user is successfully logged in, we need to, instead of register and login, we have to show the logged in username also. How do we know that user is logged in? So in the local storage, we have the data. Okay. So what we will do here, we will create one more variable, logged user data. Data type will be user only. New user. Okay. So once user is logged in, we are going to get the user data. So that we need to store into this variable. So over here, we need to assign result.data. Okay. And let's say user refresh also. So that time also we need the data, but user is not going to log in again. But in the local storage, we have the data. So in constructor, Let's create constructor on the page load. Also, we need to read the local storage data. So constant local data is equal to local storage dot get item. So in which key we are storing the data? This is the key. So this same we need to pass it over here. And then we need to add a null check if local data is not equal to null. So while storing the data into local storage, we have converted into string format. So again, if we have to read, again, we need to convert it back. So constant parse data, JSON, sorry, dot parse method is there. And what parse we need to pass? The local data, string data, what we have. Okay. And then this we will assign it to our logged in user data. This we have to pass it over here. Okay. Now in this variable, if user ID is 0, means user is not logged in. Okay. So what we need to do over here, at the rate if this dot user ID equal to 0 means user is not logged in. So if not logged in, we have to showcase these two links. And at the rate else, if user is logged in, we will get user ID. So then we will again need two links. In the first link, we will showcase logged in user data, means username over here like this. So logged in user data dot let's show email instead of username. And over here, we will have log off button. Okay. Let's say button danger something class I'm adding. And over here on log off function, we will create. Let's create this function. And once we do the log off, what we need to do? We need to again reinitialize this form, this particular variable, new user like this, and we need to clear the local storage data. So local storage dot remove item. What we need to remove? Just this particular key data. Okay. Let's save and check if we are able to test everything properly. So currently in the local storage, we have the data. So by default, you can see over here, email ID and log off button is coming. If I click on log off, you can see again, we are back to the normal page. Let's try logging it again. Test user 112233. On click of login, continue. See, got it? So we are able to do. Let's change the spelling also. So this is the login functionality we have done. Okay. Now we need to move to the enrollment part. So on the page load, we have shown the whatever the courses we have. On click of particular course, we are showing like what are the content we have. Correct. So images are not because I'm using the directly URL from the YouTube video, but I think they keep changing it every day. So that's why again it is going to this not found. Okay. And this is done. So now we have to start with the enrollment. So once user registered to particular course, again, one more component we will show my courses. There we need to show the enroll courses. Then the detail page we need to do. Okay. So half the part is done. Now half the part is remaining. Fine. So after user is logged in, user should be able to do the enrollment for the particular courses. So on each courses, we have shown the button enroll button. Now on click of enroll, what we need to do, we need to integrate an API. So this is that API, create new enrollment. So this is the object what we need to pass. This is primary key, user ID, logged in user ID, course ID, on whatever the course we click, that ID we need to pass. Then enrollment date, current date we can pass. Is completed by default, we will send it false. So this API we need to integrate. Okay. But let's say I'm not logged in. So first of all, if I'm not logged in, I should not be able to see this button, or we will show that button. But once if user is not logged in and if user try to click on enroll, we will show error like please log in before. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So this enroll button is there, right? So first, how do we know that user is logged in or not? So now this enroll button is in our home component. But how do we know like user is logged in or not? In the local storage, if we have the data or not. Like that, we will decide like if user is logged in or not. So let's just close everything. So now whatever we did on the app component on the log on the page load, that same thing we need to do in the home component as well. So where is constructor? We don't have it. Let's do the same thing in ng model. Either we can do that part in constructor or ng model. Let's create this user, new user, like this. So now if this variable has the ID, this is the enroll button. Let's remove this anchor tag. So now, or let's create, because on click of it, we are going to do that on enroll. Let's create this function. Now inside this function, what we need to do, first if condition we need to write, like if this dot logged user data dot user ID is equal to 0. If it is 0 means user is not logged in. So we will showcase an error like please log in first to enroll. Okay, let's check if we are able to show the message proper. So currently user is not logged in. If I try to click on enroll, why it is reloading? Let's save it again. So if we click on enroll, see, we are getting error. Now let's try to log in. What was that? Test user now? Test user 112233. Again, one more thing, APIs are free. Everyone is going to use that. So don't put your actual email ID or phone number because it might be possible that everyone is using it, right? So just be sure, just put the dummy data. Okay. Now, so now if I click on enroll, why still it is showing like that? Let's try to add a debugger over here. Okay, now it is not showing because page load thing was not there. Okay, fine. So now if user is logged in, it will go to the else block. Now in else block, we need to call that API. Okay. So where is that API? This is the object. Let's see if we have model already created or not. Okay, model is not there. Let me just quickly create it. So this model we need to create. Export. I will create interface. Enrollment. These are the properties which we are going to have. 0 I will replace with number. Then this will be date. And this will be Boolean. Instead of interface, we will go with class only because so many things we need to initialize by default. This dot enrollment ID, we will initialize to 0. Then this dot course ID, again, we will initialize to 0. Enrollment date, new date, by default date, we need to pass. Is completed by default, we will send it false. And user ID, we will send it 0. User ID, we will assign with the logged in ID. Fine. So this is the object which we have created. Now, over here, we need to create an instance of this model. So in this function, either we can create a global variable or over here only we can create. So constant enroll obj data type will be this is equal to like this. Let's add the import. Okay. What it is saying. Okay, fine. Now what things we have course ID. So once we click on the enroll, we are going to click on over here. So for this function, we have to pass the enrollment course ID also, like what type of course I'm going to enroll. So for this function, we are passing course ID as a parameter. So course ID, we will get it over here, number. So this course ID, whatever we get, we will assign it over here. Then enrollment date, we already said a new date, so we don't need to again, or let's reinitialize again, current date. colon. Then we have enrollment ID will be 0. I am using equal to. Then we have user ID. So user ID will be logged in user ID. So this same thing, we need to pass it over here. Whatever the logged in user ID is there, that we will pass. Is completed by default, false value we will set. So we have object ready. Now this object we just need to pass to our API. So again, we need to go to our service and we need to create one API call. So just like this, on enrollment. Let's get the API URL, create new enrollment. This is the method name. This will go over here and the object, what object I'm going to receive? Enrollment. Okay. Now here, again, same thing, post API call we are going to do. So in app component, we have already done the post API. So I'm just copying that code. So this code I'm copying and I will put it over here. Master service on enrollment. What object we need to pass? This local object. There is no need to create this as a global because every time when we click on enrollment, this should be there. Okay. Now, so use enrollment success message we will show. Okay. We don't need this. Let's check if we are able to do the enrollment. Actually, I have tried that. Let me just remove that. So course ID enrollment ID was 1. Let me just delete this. Okay. So now if we check get all enrollment, we have an empty array. Currently no enrollment is there. Let's try to do that. So now if we click on enroll, one API call will be there. See, course ID we have got, it will go to the else block. So now if we see the enrollment object, see all data is correctly. User ID also we have got, enrollment ID is 0. Date is also there, is completed, and course ID is also there. Let's add a debugger, continue. So now in the result, you can see we got true, means enrollment is success. Let's check get API one more time. So see, enrollment is there. So this particular user has registered to this particular course. Okay. Now, so here we need one more component to show the enrolled courses. Like, so we have these courses. Now, instead of courses, we will change it to my courses. So in app component, we have this courses. So instead of href, we will use RouterLink. And where we have to navigate? My courses. So this will go over here. Now, if we have to use the RouterLink, again, we need to import it also. Just like RouterOutlet is also there now. Just like that, we need to import RouterLink. Without import, we cannot use anything now. Let's save. And let's check if we are able to navigate. Why we are not able to navigate? Let's save. Let's save. RouterLink is there. Correct only, no? Okay, home component is only there. My courses component was not changed. So you can see now, my courses component is visible. Now in my courses component, what we will do? We have to show the courses which are enrolled by the logged in user. Okay. And this link, my courses also link will be visible if we are logged in. So here also we can just add that my courses. So this tab will be available if user is logged in, means over here at the else block. If user is not logged in, this tab won't be visible. Okay. Now here, what we need to do, we have one more API. So get all enrollment API is for admin. Okay. But here, get enrolled courses by user ID. So here we need to pass the logged in user ID. What are the courses user is registered? We will get that. Okay. So this API call we need to do over here. But before that UI, we will need the, what do we say? UI also. So UI we will copy from the home component only. Okay. Now, so in my courses component, first we need the logged in user data, right? So that for that, we will just copy this code. Let's paste it over here. Let's add the import for the user class. So we have the logged in data. Then we will on the page load, we need to implement. So implements on init. Once we implement, we need to add ngOnInit also. Okay. Let's create one more function, get enrollment by user ID. Okay. Now here we have to make that API call. So again, master service object we need to create. Inject. What we need to inject? Master service. Okay. Now in master service, first we need to create the function. So in master service, let's create that function. It is going to be a get API call. So I will just copying this. Let's see the API call. This is the API call. So let's copy. Let's paste it over here. Okay. Whatever the ID we will get, we will pass it over here. Get enrollment by user ID. Fine. Now this function we need to call over here. So this dot master service dot get enrollment by user ID, and we have to pass the logged in user ID. So logged in user ID, we will get it into this variable dot user ID dot subscribe. Again, instead of see this piece of code is getting repeated everywhere. So instead of doing that, we can move this code into service also. But just to keep project easily understandable to everyone, that's why I'm just not doing that. But if you know like how do we do that, please move this code to service, and everywhere just service dot logged in user ID you can do. Okay. So res dot I API response model. Fine. Whatever the data we get, that we need to store again. So that we will store over here. Course list I course, like that. Sorry, I enrollment is there now. Let me just check if we have the model. Think we don't have the model. Let's just copy paste. So this kind of the model I'm going to get. Let's convert it by using this convert JSON to TS. This site will help us to convert it. It will just save us time. Let's copy, export interface. I enrollment. Okay. Now this object, we will use it over here. Instead of I course, we have to pass this object because that kind of data we are going to get. Let's add the import. This function we need to call over here. Whatever the data we get, that we need to store it over here. So sometimes I'm using signal, sometimes I'm using normal variable. So make sure you are also doing the same so that everything we can do the practice. Okay. Now, whatever the data we get, whatever the courses user has enrolled, that we are going to get it over here, that we need to display. So let's use the home tab code. Let me just copy this piece of code. Let's again copy paste it over here. We won't need just this section. And here, instead of course list, we have to use this variable. Okay. Now here, I think we should be able to get the. So here we are not getting thumbnail because we need to show the thumbnail, right? Anyway, I will change the API. Here you will get the thumbnail also that you can just bind it. So for now, I'm just adding this in my model so that error won't be there. Okay. When you will check the API, you will get the thumbnail also. Because with course name, we need to show the thumbnail, then only that will look proper. Okay. And let's view videos. Or here, start learning button will be there. Let's remove this. Course description is also not there. Okay, I will have to pass this also. Okay, for now I'm just adding it over here. I will pass it from the API. So for slice pipe, again, we need to add the import also. Let's just add the slice pipe. Everything looks proper. Let's just save and check if we should be able to only see the one course, what we have added. See, only one course is there. If I show you the network call, we might have one API call. Let's reload. See, whatever the logged in user ID that we are passing, and in return, we just got one course. Let's try to register. Let's go to the home page. Let's say if I registered for the JavaScript, enroll. Why it is saying already exist? What type of logic I have written? Let's check the API. I think I am just comparing user ID. I have to compare user ID and the course. No, I'm passing user ID and course ID I'm matching. But why it is saying like it already exists? I'm passing course ID as 19 and user ID is this. Why it is saying like enrollment for selected course already exists, where user ID is equal to this and course ID is equal to this. Let's check the database also. Is equal to null, then only I'm doing it. Let me just check the table. If we have some duplicate entry, enrollment table is there, user ID is there, course ID is there. How it is, why it is not allowing us to insert the data? User ID is equal to user ID and course ID is equal to course ID. So if we don't have any matching record, then only we are allowing. Okay, anyway, let me just debug this locally, then we can see. Here I, instead of comparing with the object, same thing I did just because of copy paste. So I have to change the API. Let me just redeploy the API, then it will work. I have redeployed the API. Let's try to register again. If we click on enroll now, yeah, enrollment is success. Now let's go to my courses. So I have sent the description and the image also. So now you can see it's properly coming. Instead of our courses, it should be my courses now. Correct? My courses. Okay. So we are able to see whatever the courses we have. Next thing, if we click on the start learning, we have to navigate to that other page, detail page. Let me just open the UI template, what we are using, course detail. So here we have to navigate. So this whole thing, we will need it. And this we will put it into our course detail component. Okay. Now, once we click on start detail, we have to navigate. But while navigating, we need to pass the parameter also, like which course I'm going to watch now. So we need to change the route. So course detail :/ID. Okay. So this is now a parameter with a, sorry, route with parameter, parameterized route. So once we click on start learning, we have to call a function, or directly we can use RouterLink over here also. First, we need to import RouterLink. We have already done that, right? So let's try to navigate from the function. So that will also get covered. Click on or watch course or start course. That will make more sense. Or navigate, no? So because we are navigating to course. And while navigate, we need to pass the course ID also. So item dot course ID we need to pass. Okay. Let's create this function. Now from .ts, we are going to navigate. So how for that, we need to make use of our router service. ID we are going to get. So let's catch that. Okay. So we have to create instance of our router service. So router Inject. What we need to inject? Router only. Okay. Then over here, this dot router dot navigate method we have to use round bracket, square bracket. First will be our route name. So this is our route name. And second parameter will be our ID. So comma ID we have to pass. Let's check if we are able to navigate. Let's check the console if we face any error. So once I click on start learning, we are getting error. In the route, I think colon we need after slash. Like this. Always get confused over that. Let's click on start learning. So now you can see we are able to navigate. Okay. But why we are landing to the home page? Okay, see. So always make sure whenever we copy paste now, we have to course detail component. Okay, so now we will be successfully moving back to over here. Okay, UI is coming, but CSS are not there. So let's get the CSS from over here. These are the CSS we need for that detail page. So let's add it over here. Let's save. Okay, so now UI is coming properly. Now here we need to show whatever the courses we have in today's particular course. Okay, so now one more API call to get the course videos. Okay, so where is that API? Get course videos by course ID. This API we need to call on the page load of this. But before that, first we need to read the parameter. Okay, so to read the parameter, let me just close everything. We need to make use of one more service, that is router activated route. Inject activated route. Sorry, this we need to inject. Then we can subscribe to the params dot subscribe. We will get object that we need to send. Okay, so what is the parameter name we have? ID. So in result.id we will get it. And here we need one more parameter, one more variable course ID, because we need to store it also. By default, I'm assigning 0. So this dot course ID is equal to result.id. Okay. So on the page load, we will read the URL, whatever the course ID we have in the URL. Now we need to call one more API. So in service, I think we have already that function created, get course videos by course ID. So this function, again, we need to do it over here. Let's just copy paste, get videos. Function name will be get course videos. And here we need to pass course ID. So this we will pass it over here. And instead of course list, we will need one more variable that will be video list. Now here, instead of this, we have to pass iVideo. Okay. And this function we have to call in the subscribe call of the params. So over here, not on the page load. Once we read the course ID, then only we need to call this function because we are using course ID over here. Okay. Now videos list. Sorry, video list we have. Now, whatever the videos we have in that course, that we have to show in the side panel. Where is the side panel? Wait. We are doing in the wrong component. This we have to do over here. So sorry. Let's copy the whole code. Let's move it over here. What else is needed? Logged in user data we need. Logged in user data won't be needed. This code is also not needed. Oh, we might need it. I will explain, because we need to capture the detail also, like the progress of the course. So for that, we are going to hit one more API. Okay. And master service object also we need. So let's copy this master service import. Let's remove unnecessary thing we did over here. Okay. Course ID we don't need over here. Now in course detail we have this video list variable also we need. So this, let's paste it over here. I video list. Okay. Now whatever the videos we got, that we need to display in the side panel. So we have this sidebar. Okay. So this li we need to iterate. So let's make use of for loop on this element. And this li will go inside this. Okay. And here we need to show first index, we will print it over here. Then we need to show the video title. So item dot, wait, something not correct. We have binded this, but we need the, where is the video one? So this we need to bind video length, video array will be there. Okay. So over here, item dot title we need to see. Okay. Let's just save and check if that data is dynamic or not. I think we have error. What is the error in my courses? Thumbnail URL. Enrollment. Okay, fine. Everything is perfect now. Let's close everything. Now, so you can see in JavaScript, we just have three functions. How it got messed up? Why it is looking like this? Why CSS got broke? Some CSS is not working properly. Ratio is there. Let's try to add width 100%. Video container, all LG12. Sidebar has around main content is starting from over here. Let's try to increase it. Now it looks proper. Yeah. So we just need to change this margin left. Okay. So in this particular course, we have got three courses. Let's try to check Angular. So in Angular, see some, again, it's breaking. Do we have CSS common over here? I thought it. So the zero section and everything, we have to move to our home component. CSS are getting overridden. Just try one more time. Why it's still not taking that width what we added? $382. Let's change it to 382. Let's save and let's check one more time. Yeah, now it is coming. If we go to JavaScript, okay. Now what we need to do, we are able to see the source course content. This is 0, so let's increment it by 1. This we have to do +1. So index will start from 1. Let's say, so now you can see 1, 2, 3. Now, if I clicked over here, whatever the URL we have, that we need to assign to this URL. Okay, iframe is there. So you can see this is the iframe. Now here we just need to bind our URL. Okay. So if you see, let me just show you the data, what we are getting over here. Let's reload. So over here, you can see we are going to get a URL. See this video URL. So this code you need to add over here, where it is on this. Let's just try it. So you will be able to see the video. Why it is not loading? To inspect, what do we passed? Let's try this opening. Here it's loading. Daniel Bennett was official. But why it's not loading over here? What are we doing wrong? Let's try it over here. Let's try to uncomment this. Let's save. Still it is not. Let me just check the iframe issue. Sorry, so this embed was missing. So this should be URL. Okay. So now here, this thing we need to make it dynamic. Okay. This will be static. Just the code we need to pass it over here. So over here. Now on click of it, we are showing the videos over here. Now on click of particular that li, we need to set the particular video. Okay. So watch video function. Let's pass the item.url video URL to this function. Let's create this function. We will get the URL over here. Data type will be string. Okay. Now, whatever the currently video we are watching, that we also need to store. So let's create a variable current video URL. Data type will be string is equal to empty. So whatever the URL we get, that we will store it over here. So this dot okay. Now this we will pass it over here. Let's make it dynamic. So here string plus this and this this we have to pass it over here like this. Let's check if it is working now. So if I click on call apply bind, I think hash is there. Let's remove this href. Let's try now. Okay. So if I click on this, nothing is happening or what? Let's see. Iframe. Let's first try to print what this is happening. So let's try to print this. In interpolation, we will try to print this first. Let's see. If I click, yeah, URL is getting created properly. And the same thing if we pass over here, let me just try this. instead of this, if I pass it over here, unsafe value. Okay, so we have to sanitize it. So sanitize is the, whenever we are passing any URL in the HTML now, before passing it, we need to sanitize it. Let me just see how do we do that. I forgot now. Now it started working. So let me just show you what I have done for this. So first, we have to, whenever we are appending any URL or any HTML content directly in the template, we need to bypass that. Okay. So what I did, I created a new variable with data type save resource URL. Okay. Then I have created instance of DOM sanitizer. Okay, service. Then one function I have created, which will be responsible to sanitize, bypass the security resource trust URL. See, the URL I have passed and whatever the URL I will get, the code that I'm passing it over here. And this function I'm calling it over here. So whatever the sanitized URL I get, that I'm storing over here, and then this safe URL I'm passing it over here. Okay, just print it out. So how we can see the sanitized URL. Just save and let's check it. Now if I click over here, so see, sanitized URL look like this. Okay, then your YouTube video will work. Now I can start and there. Okay, so now once we click over here, one more thing we can do, we have two more APIs, right? So to start and add progress and add complete video. So this API again you can do, but basic thing, everything we have covered. Let me just remove this. Okay, so this is how we are able to change the video slots. Then if we go courses, my courses, we can just, if we say Angular, see Angular videos are also coming. We can play and so this is kind of an e-commerce e-learning application we have created from start to end. Some part I have like just for RN wherever we face the issue, I pause it, but I have explained everything. Like just this DOM sanitizer is the thing. Okay. If you are looking for the code, I won't be pushing this code. You need to visit that mini project idea, or you can just connect me on WhatsApp. I will share the source, but I won't be pushing this because so many guys are using this code in another ways. That's why I'm not pushing the code. If you need the code, please do reach out to me. I will share it. So that's it. Thank you guys.